What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Chance Bishop Show for episode 99 of our Madden 23 Philadelphia Eagles franchise mode here on the channel. The Philadelphia Eagles coming off their 6th Super Bowl in franchise history. Yes, 6 Super Bowls. They've won 5 here since taking over, since I guess the start of this series has taken. But Siriani, now with 5 rings of his own, he has as many rings as the Dallas Cowboys. The Eagles as a whole have more rings now as the Dallas Cowboys. So let's go Philadelphia. Siriani looking for his 6th ring, and Philadelphia looking for their 7th ring as an organization. So coming in this one, trying to beat the Lions here on opening week. Philadelphia and the Lions, they've become some real playoff rivals right now. Always seems like these two teams are going head-to-head with each other when it comes down to the playoffs. Philadelphia, they're a good team. They're a very good team. The Eagles here they're one of those teams where it's just like, yeah, we're going to come here, we're going to beat your team to a pulp, embarrass you, and your fans are going to be like, why are the Eagles so good? They're like the Warriors when they had that really good dynasty and then they went out and got KD. Yeah, that's what the Eagles are right now. They're a straight dynasty here in Philadelphia. It just kind of Tom Brady popping the cork on their Eagles' 2nd Super Bowl win. Yeah, that started the whole thing. It was downhill from there for the NFL. Philadelphia are like the new age Patriots. Nick Foles won. Nick Sirianni comes in here. He takes Tom Brady to get his 1st ring. Tom Brady then has, 8 rings? Something like that? Absolutely bonkers. He has 6 with the Patriots. He had 1 with the Bucks, right? Right? Did he have 6 with the Patriots, 1 with the Bucks, and then 1 with Philadelphia? Did he have 7? Did he have 6 or 7 rings? I don't know. He had an insane amount of rings. It's all that matters, honestly. Tom Brady, just way too good, honestly. But we're getting ready to go opening week here in the NFL. Philadelphia kicking it off. 1st quarter right now. Come on, Philadelphia. Looking for a lead right now. That's honestly the only thing Philadelphia's looking forward to right now is just getting a lead here in this game. But no one's got any points. And Philadelphia scores first, makes it 7-0. The Lions answer back, 7-7 tied game. Philadelphia marching. They get a quick touchdown, 14-7. Lions in the red zone, tied up 14 apiece. Philadelphia answers very quickly before the half. Answer again before the half, 28-14. 3rd quarter, 3 points from the Lions. 3rd quarter, still Philadelphia marching, and they get their 5th touchdown of the game. A bunch of trading of punts right there. Turnovers, 42-17. The Lions get their 1st touchdown in a couple periods right now, 42-24. Philly gets a field goal, and it's 49-20. The touchdown, 49-24. So a 7-touchdown game here for Philadelphia in the opening week here of this brand new season. The Eagles move to 1-0 in the season, kind of obliterating the Detroit Lions, over doubling their score right there. That is an upsetting loss if you were a Lions fan, especially because not only do the Philadelphia Eagles beat your team in the championship round every year, they're now beating you the 1st week of the season. Yeah, that's some real upsetty spaghetti stuff right there for the Philadelphia Eagles. But Richardson, 6 touchdowns and a pick. I wish we didn't have the pick. 81 yards for Bijan, no touchdowns. 83 yards for CD, 194 for Bijan, 3 receiving touchdowns. 96 from Devontae. 2 sacks allowed by Banks. Tackles were led by Joey Porter and Trayvon Diggs. 2 tackles for loss for Davis. A sack from Micah Parsons and a pick from CJ right there. Dan Gardner was perfect. Greg McCain had 2 punts. Porter, non-existent on the return team right there. But Bijan after the game goes, "Coach, we killed it. Sure I only had 81 yards via the ground as a running back, but I Christian McCaffrey'd the crap out of it. 3 receiving touchdowns and a $194 in the receiving game right there. Bijan Robinson, turning out to being one of the most versatile running backs in the league. Sure, he might not get like 800 receiving yards or 1,000 receiving yards like McCaffrey, but if he pair up 2,100 or 1,800 rushing yards and 500 yards receiving, that adds up right there to have over 2,000 yards of all-purpose, which is absolutely bonkers to have as a running back. But we're moving to the 2031 season right now. Philadelphia, after starting 1-0, is looking to, I'd say, try to be 7-1, 8-0 maybe. If it's a really slow start, like a 6-2 or a 5-3. But going into week 8, I mean, there's no bye week coming up. Sometimes we get a very early bye, which is kind of unfortunate for the Eagles. It just happens right now. But coming into week 8, the Philadelphia Eagles are looking at 5-1. The Cowboys are 6-1. All right, so I'm not too worried about that. 5-1 Eagles, 6-1 Cowboys. They've only played the one more game than us. We actually just got our one loss. 560, 580 from Devontae, 445 from CD. Let's see, we have 8 receiving touchdowns, 16 touchdowns from Bijan. He's got 300 yards receiving. Sacks, 3 allowed by Banks, 2 from Malata. Games played, everyone's got 6 games for the most part. Tackles are led by Jeremiah Trotter. 6 tackles from Loss leads the team. 9 sacks from Breezy, followed by 8 from Parsons. 2 picks lead the team from Trayvon Diggs. Gardner, perfect. Only 2 field goals on the season so far. 8 weeks, only 2 field goals. Or 7 weeks, only 2 field goals. That's kind of crazy when you really break that down. Only 2 field goal attempts in 7 weeks. But jumping to the end of the season, Philadelphia are looking to hopefully have themselves another first round bye. It'd be disgusting if the Cowboys honestly got the first round bye, beating out Philadelphia. But honestly, Dallas, they're Dallas. They're going to Dallas it way too hard. They're going to drop a bunch of games, especially late in the season. And they're going to end up like 8-9 or 7-10, something like that. The Cowboys, they're not going to do well. They're not going to do well in the second half. Philadelphia's going to surpass them. They're going to get the first round bye. Even if it's only by a game or so, Philadelphia's going to get the first round bye. You just know what's going to happen. Plain and simple, Philadelphia's the better team. They come out 16-1. Boy, was I right. 16-1, 9-8 are the Cowboys. So they have a winning record, which is a bit unfortunate right there. But from 6-1 to 9-8, they dropped 7 of their last 10 games, which is wild. Richardson over 4,000 yards, 1,616 from Bijan Robinson right there. 1,283 from Devontae. We had 1,036 from CD, 900 from A.J. Brown. Touchdowns, 20 receiving touchdowns. 500 yards from Bijan, by the way, so he went over 2,000 yards. Darren Hill, 17 games, no sacks allowed. Way to go, Darren Hill, starting guard right there. Jeremiah Trotter led team with 96 tackles, 19 tackles for losses, 26 sacks from Parsons, 20 from Brian Breezy, 6 picks from Joey Porter, 4 from Trotter, 4 from Diggs. Diggs did not get another interception since halfway through the season. Gardner missed 2 kicks and 1 extra point. 39 punts for 2,000 yards. Kinney did fine. Kinney did fine. Nothing to really say about Victor Kinney right there on special teams. Philadelphia hit the first seed. Panthers, Saints, we got Vikings, Cowboys, Seahawks, and Buccaneers round out the playoffs for the NFC. The Jaguars have the first round bye in the AFC. Coach Doug Pederson, there you go. Guess what? 5 years in a row. There are more teams in the NFC than the New Orleans Saints. Why is it every season, no matter what year it is, from literally 2026 on, we have faced off against the New Orleans Saints in the divisional round? Come on, something, anything, anybody. Can you explain to me why we keep going against the Saints? How are the Saints, for a team that always ends up as like the 7th seed, how do the Saints always get past the first round? And how do they always, and I mean how do they always, match up against Philadelphia? Like, come on, be a little better. Be a little better. Go up against another first-round opponent or second-round opponent. Come on. You must hate absolutely coming into the playoffs, going, great, here we go, another season, we're playing Philly. Guess you can write off, like, the 22nd pick in the league or something like that. I don't know what pick they have this season based off their win-loss record, but it's going to be, like, a low 20s. Like a 22 to, like, a 24, depending on how everything kind of turns out. But Philadelphia, of course, the favorite here. They lost that one game against the Saints, but they have yet to lose another. Yeah, so definitely coming into this one right now. The special teams unit is underway. Gotta get things to rocking and rolling. The Saints get the opening kickoff, and they score a touchdown first drive. Philadelphia going to rally, and they do. Saints with the ball, give it back to Philadelphia. Philly scores a touchdown. Now Saints, they punt it, and they get the ball back, and the Saints will not put points on the board. Philadelphia, just a battle of extra points and punts and missed field goals. Probably Philadelphia gets the first touchdown since the first half. Now it's two quick touchdowns, 28-7. Saints add one, make it 28-14. And they add another quick touchdown, final couple minutes. And the Saints, they drop this one 28-20. So the Saints have a lot of close games against Philadelphia. It was a real... Philadelphia was running away with it to the fourth quarter, in which they allowed not one, but two touchdowns. And then I guess they missed the 2-point conversion, which was bonkers to happen. But Philadelphia wins this one 28-20. So a win is a win no matter what the score is. Philadelphia is advancing, and the Saints are moving back to New Orleans. They're going home. Time to hit the golf course for New Orleans as, well, their quarterback was pressured 22 times. 22 times the Saints QB got pressured, which is, how can a team allow that to happen? So 19 for 30, bunch of touchdowns, 88 yards a touchdown for Bijan, CD 57 yards, A.J. Brown 44 from the next guy behind him. One pancake, one sack allowed during the game. Tackles led by Nakobe Dean. One tackle from loss from a couple players. Only 3 sacks on the day. Breezy, Davis, and Parsons. 1 interception. Gardner was fine. McCain had 3 punts. Porter no kick return. And only 6 punt return yards for Joey Porter. On to the second round. Come on. Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions. No, it's the Seahawks. Okay, Seattle. Legion of Boom, the 12th man. Whatever other nicknames they want to invent down there in Seattle. But Philadelphia, historically not great against the Bird team, especially in the postseason. Gotta look at the Cardinals. The Seahawks, in which Jadeveon Clowney absolutely teed off against Carson Wentz. Had him so concussed, the dude couldn't walk. Dude was throwing up everywhere. Yeah, absolute gross play by Jadeveon. Of course, not a flag there because it's the Philadelphia Eagles, even though it was literally helmet to helmet. You hate to see it. You really do. But Philadelphia looking to enact some revenge against their former QB. But there you go, 2,500 total rushing yards for Philadelphia, averaging just under 4 yards a carry. So Philadelphia's rushing offense the last 3 years has taken a noticeable dip. They went from, 4.7, 4.8 yards per carry 2 seasons ago. Last season, they were at 4.2 yards a carry, which is getting about a little closer to league average. And now at 3.9 yards a carry, Philadelphia is starting to show their age when it comes to their rushing attack. Definitely taking that dip down in the rushing game. Something that Philadelphia is not used to honestly doing. Philly's used to being one of the premier rushing attacks. But the fact that they're starting to slip and slide down just kind of shows that, I don't think Bijan's losing it. I think it's just the depth behind him. They're not really running Frank Gore. It's kind of a Bijan or nothing kind of deal in Philadelphia. But, I don't know, even he's starting to get some wear on the treads. But Philadelphia, they do jump out to a 10-7 lead here in the first half. 17-7 now, 24-7. Okay, Philly, you're rallying. You're getting some points in this first half. 31-7 into the third quarter now. Philadelphia looking to get another touchdown right now. There you go, 34 on the field goal. Bunch of punts and kicks. There you go. Philadelphia with a very commanding lead makes it 41-7. The Seahawks finally get some points here in the fourth quarter. And Philadelphia, a very decisive 41-10 victory over the Seattle Seahawks. Take a look down there, the ticker. The Jacksonville Jaguars defeat the Oakland Raiders. Still the Las Vegas Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders. Forgot that Oakland is no longer the home of the Raiders. That's how little I care about the Raiders. I forget where they play. But the Jacksonville Jaguars, with head coach Doug Pederson, is taking on Nick Siriani and the Philadelphia Eagles. An absolutely bonkers Super Bowl matchup. But there you go. 4 touchdowns and a pick from Anthony Richardson. Over 400 yards passing. 58 yards via the ground. 115 from Chase Cole. Let's see. Tackle. Pancakes. No pancakes. 1 sack allowed by Beef Jurgens. Let's see. Trayvon Diggs led the team with 8 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 3 sacks from Brian Breezy, 2 from Micah Parsons, half sack from CJ and Davis. Um, Going through this one, fine from Greg. Greg was fine, and so was the other guy. Joey Porter did fairly okay on the punt return, 4 for 51, averaging 12 yards. So he gets like a first down per punt return, so that's not too shabby. Take a look at the NFC AFC matchups right there for the Pro Bowl. A lot of usual suspects right now. It just seems like every year you get the same guys in the Pro Bowl at least for these leagues, because none of these guys actually end up in the Super Bowl, which is hilarious. So like Chase Young, Nick Bosa's there again, Marvin Jones Jr. Let's see, corners. Anyone else? Derek Stingley. That's the first time I think we've seen Derek Stingley. Buda Baker's there. It's a couple of new guys, I'd say. Not the usual suspects. I don't think I saw Jalen Carter, which is crazy that Jalen Carter is not in the Pro Bowl for not being in the Super Bowl. But Philadelphia, they're coming in this one taking on the Jaguars. The Jaguars, former Philadelphia Eagles head coaches over there. There is a lot of headlines coming around this one. Is that how will Doug Pederson face off against his former team? Will he slay the beast that let him go after choosing neither, him or Carson Wentz? Absolutely insane turn of events that was. Philadelphia lets go of Doug. They let go of Carson. Absolutely insane. You bring in Nick Siriani, and now here we go. Just a couple years later, probably a cool decade later now. But you have Nick Sirianni taking on Doug Pederson. How often does a team, as a head coach, face off against his former team? I guess you gotta think John Gruden played against the Raiders when he was with the Bucks. But outside of that, how often does this honestly happen here in the NFL? But the Eagles, they're running through a table. That's how hyped they are. There you go. Now look at them run through that Gatorade table. Gatorade means nothing to either team, as the Jaguars are also running through the Gatorade table. Out comes Trevor Lawrence here in the Super Bowl. I believe this is his first Super Bowl appearance in the NFL. But there you go. Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Philadelphia Eagles here in the 2031 Super Bowl. And now there you go. The coin toss is in, and the coin toss will probably elect for the Jaguars to receive first. Anthony Richardson on the sideline, so is Trevor Lawrence. They are hyping up their respective teams. There you go. You got Moses Maynard in the backfield. He's ready to return this kick from Dave Gardner. And there you go. 107 kickoffs, 55 touchbacks, average yard of 22 yards per return. So Dave Gardner, he's still got it. So that opening kickoff will lead to a first drive touchdown for Philadelphia, as the Jaguars couldn't do it. So Philadelphia keeps marching. Can they get another touchdown? And they do. It's 14-0. It's 21-0 here in the second quarter. It's Philadelphia. They'll up a touchdown there. It's 21-7. So let's see. Philadelphia with the ball again. And they go up by a 3-touchdown lead now. Up by a 4-touchdown lead. 35-7. Marching down the field. Philadelphia gets 42 points here. And in the fourth quarter, it's 49-7. Final 2.5 minutes. Philly, can they get another one? They do. 52-7. And the Philadelphia Eagles absolutely blow out the Jacksonville Jaguars. And this is the case of like the Legion of Boom versus Peyton Manning's Broncos levels of bad. Absolutely embarrassed, flabbergasted, embarrassed, right home, cry to your mama. This is probably one of the worst Super Bowl blowouts in NFL history. Look at these guys being real cordial. Richardson shaking the hands of Trevor Lawrence. I wouldn't be surprised if he pulled a Nick Foles, Tom Brady, and just dipped, wasn't on the field to shake his hands. I wouldn't blame him after a performance like this in the Super Bowl. I think the only thing worse probably that Zach Wilson performance, a couple seasons ago. But Richardson holding the trophy yet again in his career. He has himself yet another ring for his hands. Hoisting the trophy up high. 5 touchdowns, 385, 100 yards and a touchdown for Bijan. 156 yards from Devontae, no touchdowns. 45 yards from CeeDee Lamb, 2 touchdowns. Look at that. Let's see, 1 sack allowed by Banks. No pancakes on the game, which is unfortunate. Defensively, 7 tackles led the team. 1 tackle for loss from 2 players. 3 sacks from Sweat, 2 from Parsons, 1 from Breezy. We had 1 interception from Jeremiah Trotter. Gardner was perfect. McCain had 1 punt. Joey Porter had a kick return and no 3-punt returns, no kick returns. But Philadelphia, Super Bowl MVP goes to Richardson, their 7th Super Bowl. MVP goes to Tua. Coach of the Year goes to Doug. Bijan's your offensive player. Micah Parsons your defensive player. Ralph Irons and Ethan McKinney are your NFC, your offensive and defensive rookies of the year. Jalen Phillips retires. So does Miles Jack, Najee Harris. DK Metcalf hangs up. Max Crosby. Let's see, Derek Brown. Davenport, Baker, A.J. Brown, Josh Sweat, Jordan Mailata all hang up the spikes, going out on top with yet another Super Bowl victory. So those players all go out on top with 6 rings in their career. 6 rings. Imagine getting 1 ring, but those players have so many rings that they need 2 hands. 2 hands for all of those rings. Philadelphia going to offer Landon Dickerson here a 3-year extension. Because he's the best left guard in the league, honestly. There's no reason to not bring back Big Dick. Trayvon Diggs gonna offer him a 3-year extension right there. Lock those guys up. Take a look at the draft for Philadelphia. I mean, the draft, it is what it is at this point. We're going for depth. We're going for players that probably going to be cut in like 2 years anyway. Take a look at that O-line. Left tackles there. The left guard center are all, golds, all superstars. You love to see it. The defense right there, a bit of a hit right there, bring in Ralph Fitzgerald, but it's not the same as having Josh Sweat. Defense, though, starting to take a hit due to age, unfortunately. But if you guys enjoyed this episode, hit that like button, comment down below, text on YouTube, though. Peace out, rock on, stay super classy. Catch you on the next episode here of our Madden Super Bowl. Eagles winning.